Hi, Jonas and Cam. It's Auntie Sarah, and today we are going to read The Funny Thing by Wanda Gag, and also the author of A Million Cats, which is another great book. This is a book that Bubby used to read to us all the time, and we loved it. And there's even something from this book, Jumjills, that she would make us to eat. Maybe your mom can make you Jumjills too. All right. Let's see. The funny thing, it was a beautiful day in the mountains. The sun was playing hide and seek among the fluffy floating clouds. And the air, let's get the volume up here, make sure that's all. Okay. The air was soft and warm. Bobo, the good little man of the mountains, was waiting for the birds and the animals to come. To come for what, do you suppose? To come for food, because at the door of his mountain cave, Bobo had many good things for them to eat. So here you can see Bobo sitting and waiting for the animals. Here's the food in front of his cave. He had nut cakes for the fuzzy-tailed squirrels. He had seed puddings for the fluttering birds. And he had cabbage salads for the long-eared rabbits. He had tiny cheeses no bigger than cherries. And they were for the little mice. So you can see the squirrels. Let's see here. The squirrels, the birds, the cheese and the mice, and the rabbits. All right, so now on this beautiful sunny day, there came a funny thing which Bobo had never seen before. It looked something like a dog, also a little like a giraffe, and from the top of its head to the tip of its tail, there was a row of beautiful blue points. Bloop. Good morning, said Bobo. And what kind of animal are you? I am not an animal, said the funny thing. I am an aminal. Bobo was about to say that there's no such word as aminal, when the funny thing looked around fiercely and cried, Ah! And what have you for a hungry aminal to eat? Oh, said Bobo, here are some lovely nut cakes. And I also have some fine seed puddings. This cabbage salad is very nice, he says. And I'm sure you'd like these little cheeses. What's the funny thing doing? He's literally turning his nose up at this food because he doesn't want it. But the funny thing turned away and said, I've never heard of such silly food. No aminal would eat those things. Haven't you had any dolls today? Dolls, cried Bobo in surprise. Certainly, said the funny thing, and a very good thing they are, dolls. To eat? Cried Bobo, opening his eyes very wide at such an idea. To eat, of course, said the funny thing, smacking his lips, and a very good thing they are, dolls. But it's not kind to eat up little children's dolls, said Bobo. I should think it would make them very unhappy. So it does, said the funny thing, smiling pleasantly. But very good they are, dolls. Look at him, sticking out his tongue, getting all excited about dolls. Poor Bobo is very upset. And don't the children cry when you take away their dolls? Asked Bobo. Don't they, though? Said the funny thing with a cheerful grin. But very good they are, dolls. Tears rolled down Bobo's face as he thought of the funny thing going around eating up dear little children's dolls. Can you see his tear? Let's see. Can you see his tear there? Oh, poor Bobo. But perhaps you only take naughty children's dolls, he said, brightening up. No, I take them specially from good children, said the funny thing gleefully. And very good are they, good children's dolls. Oh, what shall I do? Thought Bobo as he walked back and forth and back and forth. He was trying to think of a plan to make this naughty animal forget to eat dolls. At last he had an idea. So he said to the funny thing, "What a lovely tail you have." The funny thing smiled and wriggled his tail with a pleased motion. "And those pretty black eyebrows," Bobo continued. The funny thing looked down modestly and smiled even more. "But most wonderful thing of all is that row of blue points down your back," said Bobo. The funny thing was so pleased at that, he rolled foolishly on the ground and smiled very hard. You can see him laying on the ground smiling. Then Bobo, who was really a wise old man, said to the funny thing, "I suppose you are so beautiful because you eat a great many jumjils." Jumjils are what Bubby used to make us. The funny thing had never heard of them. "Jumjils?" he asked eagerly. "What's a jumjil? Is it like a kind of doll?" "Oh, no," said Bobo. "Jumjils are funny little cakes which make blue points more beautiful and little tails grow into big ones." Now the funny thing was very vain, and there was nothing he would rather have than a very long tail and a bigger and more beautiful blue points. So he cried, "Oh, please, dear kind man, give me many jumjils." "Very well," said Bobo. Look, this is inside of Bobo's house. You can see from the cave entrance. He goes downstairs, and that's where he has his clothes and his little bed and his dresser. And then if you keep walking into the cave, you can see where he has a table where he can eat and do work, and his kitchen where he cooks. "Very well," said Bobo. "Sit down under this tree and wait for me." The funny thing was all smiles and did as he was told, while Bobo went into his cozy little home, which was like a sort of tunnel under the mountain. First, he had to go through his little bedroom. Next, he came to his study, and finally he reached the kitchen, where he usually made up the food for the birds and the animals. And now the aminals, too. Now, he took a big bowl. There he is in his kitchen. Can you see that? All right. So keep an eye on what's going into these jumjils. He took a big bowl in which he put 7 nut cakes. Where are the nut cakes? Right there. 5 seed puddings, 2 cabbage salads, and 15 little cheeses. He mixed them with a spoon and rolled them into little round balls. These little balls were jumjils. So you know what? All the food that he offered the funny thing, that the funny thing turned his nose up, he has now put into the bowl, mixed up, and called a jumjil. He put them all on a plate and carried them out to the funny thing, who was still waiting under the tree. "Here are your jumjils," said Bobo as he handed the plate to the funny thing. And there's the funny thing, looking interested. The funny thing ate one and said, "And very good are they, jumjils." And then he ate another and said, "And very good are they, jumjils." So he is enjoying these jumjils. And so on until he had eaten them all up. "And very good are they, jumjils," he said, with a smack of his lips after they were all gone. And then the funny thing went home. But the next day he came back for more jumjils. His tail was already a little longer. His blue points were beginning to grow, and he looked very happy indeed. He does look happy after finishing that whole plate. Every day the funny thing came back for more jumjils. he came for a long, long time, and each day his tail would grow a bit longer. So here you can see, let's see, there. And then it grows longer and longer and longer. But on the 20th day his tail had grown so long that he couldn't move much. Oh my, what has he done here? So he chose a nice big mountain and sat on the very top of it. Every day, Bobo sent birds to carry Jumjills to the funny thing, and the funny thing's tail grew longer and longer until it curled contentedly around his mountain. So there, he's sitting on his mountain, and look, all of this is his tail growing longer, longer, longer. And look at all the birds bringing him many, many, many Jumjills. His one joy in life was his beautiful blue pointed tail, and by the only words he said were, "And very good are they, Jumjills." So of course he ate no more dolls, and we have kind old Bobo to thank for that. So there's Bobo with his big plate of Jumjills and all the birds taking the food to the funny thing. And that way the funny thing never ate another doll. The end. All right, see you guys later. Oh, look, it's Maxie.